Hello my friends. The latest video I uploaded on the channel, it was me talking for about 20 minutes, clarifying certain elements, certain aspects about the video I uploaded before that, this sort of a vlog on the Putorana Plateau, on why the frames sometimes are like this, why the quality is not so good, why the editing is not very good, but anyway, this kind of things. A couple of days ago, a friend of mine from Russia, from those places, who maybe doesn't speak English perfectly, so didn't perhaps understand everything that I said in the video, asked me, was that video of you talking for 20 minutes so long because you received many questions on Putorana? No, unfortunately not. Although I wish I would have received more questions on it, because it would have given me the chance to answer. But nevertheless, I want to use my friend's question as an excuse to share more information about the Putorana Plateau. And because my channel is not so big and it doesn't have many subscribers, I haven't really shared much about myself, about my life, my stories, my interests, my passions, and so on and so on and so on. Although from just a few videos that you can find on the channel, perhaps some things might be obvious in a way. That some things that I really like and enjoy studying, researching, practicing, and so on, talking about, storytelling about, is, I guess, all those subjects that might fall under the umbrella of the so-called spirituality nowadays. So from healers to shamans to spiritual practices, energies and tribes. That what is all of this if not an exploration of ourselves inwards? Then of course manifests also in our approach with the outside world. And this in my life is what has brought me to many unusual locations, remote places, to live with tribes and so on. And so before talking more in details about the Putorana Plateau itself, I perhaps would like to share a little of my personal story in connection to it. How I got there in the first place. And some years ago, in Russia, I have these two friends who are much older than me. They are very great teachers and masters within the field of energy, within the field of development of human potential. And yes, I did study with them, I did practice with them, but first of all, they are my friends. And as we were having lunch and dinner sometimes, I was sharing some of my thoughts, some of my ideas about some of my plans, about the fact that I was interested in exploring some of these traditions, especially shamanic traditions, in Russia. Why? I guess nowadays, especially in the last few years, when talking about shamanism and shamans, I would say maybe people tend to think more of something like Central or South America. And fair enough. I mean, there are reasons why this is more of a stereotype now. And I don't want to go now into details on shamanism and shamans and how this subject is connected with Russia, and primarily the eastern part of Russia, Siberia and so on. But those areas of Russia have a very strong connection and history within the subjects of shamanism and shamans and animism and so on. And what is interesting is that in my life, I have been exploring so many places around the world, so many teachers from all different traditions, and yet Russia, my own country, was never under my radar. And this was the moment when I finally wanted deeply to start exploring my own country. Russia, from, let's say, primarily the central part all until the eastern part, so all that area that can be called Siberia, more or less, we have in Russia more than 200 ethnical minorities. It can be said like tribes, ethnical minorities, and the majority of them have a past and a history of shamanism and animism, with legends, stories on very powerful shamans. And these friends, they tell me, oh, you know, we have a very good friend who is the last living recognized shaman by this group of people, by this ethnical minority, by this tribe up in the very, very north of Siberia, this tribe who are called the Nganasans. And they gave me the contact of the shaman, they gave me the name of the place, and I was doing some research online. And it's funny because we are talking about not so many years ago, and yet in such few years so many things have changed in terms of information available, because back then not so many pictures available, not so many videos, even less videos than pictures, of course, on something like YouTube, and something that you could read about it, some text, but not much. Now, if you look now, yes, much more information available in terms of everything: pictures, videos, blogs, texts, and so on. And as I was looking at some of the pictures, what? The beauty of the place only from the pictures was like mind-blowing. And so I started communicating with this shaman, and the fact that this place is very remote and it's not easy to get there, it therefore becomes quite expensive. And one day the shaman writes me a text proposing to go and spend about 4 months with him to help him out with some work. And I immediately accepted, went all the way over there, stayed about 4 months, and alongside helping him with some work, he was sharing with me some of his knowledge about practices, about tradition, about legends and stories on the tribe, on the local tribes, on the local area, all the mysteries, all the strange phenomena, and all these sort of things. And so I found myself, from what I was thinking, going there only to try to learn something from this shaman and just exploring something about his practices. I found myself immersed in this crazy world of very deep, very profound culture of these people living there, and the beauty of this place, which of course is like thousands times what you see in the pictures. And you get to this place that has officially 0 inhabitants, no infrastructure, no pollution, pure, sheer nature, wilderness, lakes everywhere, rivers everywhere, thousands of waterfalls. The water everywhere so pure that you can just drink it and it's just so good. Pure nature. You cannot find a plastic thrown anywhere. Everything is just so clean. And the air, of course, and you breathe in this ancient air in a way, yeah, and you are in this place. And you understand why it inspired in ancient times these tribes, these people, these ethnical minorities to so deeply connect with nature, to develop such traditions very connected to nature, and of course from there all their traditions of animism and shamanism. Absolutely wonderful. And surprisingly, this place is completely unknown to the world. Only in the last few years the place started to become more popular, but still within Russia itself and with Russian tourists. Almost unknown to foreign travelers. There are, of course, exceptions. Of course there are. But nowadays, with the social media and YouTube videos and so many travel vloggers and content creators on traveling, we tend to think, I guess, most people, this is just my thought, yeah, we tend to think that the world has been completely explored, that we have seen and explored every single corner of the planet, when, as a matter of fact, there are still lands and cultures to be explored, beautiful. And this is how I got there. I guess in the next video, why not, I will talk more about the place itself. So this was more of the story how I got there and why, and in the next one, yeah, I will share something about the place and its beauties and mysteries. Thank you for listening. See you next time.